In today's vlog, we're going to be talking about bringing renewal into your life with the 4 dimensions of renewal. If you want to know what they are, stay tuned. On the Other Hand presents Rise, where I, Jeremy Quintanilla, share the tips and strategies that I use as I rise in my career, rise in my community, and rise in my life. Today, we're going to be talking about the 4 dimensions of renewal. But before we get started, make sure that you subscribe by clicking the link right here. And also, make sure that you like this video so we can get it in front of as many people as possible. Suppose you were to come upon someone in the woods working feverishly to saw down a tree. What are you doing, you ask? Can't you see, comes the impatient reply. I'm sawing down this tree. You look exhausted, you exclaim. How long have you been at it? Over 5 hours, the man returns, and I'm beat. This is hard work. Well, why don't you take a break for a few minutes and sharpen that saw, you inquire. I'm sure it would go a lot faster. I don't have time to sharpen the saw, the man says. I'm too busy sawing. Think about it. If you don't have time to revitalize and spend time on you, then there will be nothing left of you to give. And if there is anything left to give, giving anything is going to be a struggle for you. It will be just like the man in the saw. Now, this story comes from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And this has to do with the 4 dimensions of renewal. The 4 dimensions of renewal are spiritual, physical, mental, and social/emotional. Stephen Covey talked about these topics at length in First Things First and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Before I break them down, all of them are important to your well-being. Some people think the spiritual dimension is the most important. I personally believe the physical dimension is the best place to start if you haven't been revitalized in a while. Your physical well-being will help get you moving, and moving is the key to a productive, fulfilling life. So let's get you moving. The physical dimension is about taking care of your vessel, which is your body. Making sure you're eating the right kinds of food, getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, finding your relaxing point and relaxing, and exercising on a regular basis. So this is a lot easier said than done. So what can you really do to help you do these things? Well, the first is you need to stick to a diet. Find one that works for you and stick to it. Go to bed every night at the same time and get up every day at the same time. Every day, consistently. Find something you enjoy doing every week and make time for it. And get on an exercise routine. So, if you do these 4 things every single week, sticking to a diet, going to bed and getting up every day at the same time, finding something you enjoy, and exercising every week on a routine, you're going to improve that physical dimension. Let's move to the spiritual dimension. This doesn't mean being a Christian, a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Sikh, or any other type of religion. What this has to do with is value clarification, making sure that you're spending time examining your life. This could mean journaling every day, meditating, reading religious scriptures even if you aren't religious, studying philosophy. These activities, they examine who you are, and it is up to you to decide which ones you want to add into your life. But always remember, keep it simple. Let's talk about the mental dimension now. When most of us leave school, we let our brain atrophy. Atrophy means to waste away. We let our brain waste away. The mental dimension is about keeping your brain sharp. And here are some ways to keep your brain sharp. The first way is to play games. I said it. Play as many games as you possibly can. Play video games, tabletop games, board games, puzzle games. Games make you think. They make you make decisions in an instant. And they can help you remember. If you think I'm crazy, there's links below that can take you to some articles that talk about how games can increase your brain function and reduce diseases like Alzheimer's. The next thing is you want to learn to program. For $35, you can buy one of these. This is a Raspberry Pi, not the actual food pie, but it's called Raspberry Pi, and this is designed to help kids program. Programming is something every person should know how to do as we move into the future. So this is one of my 2017 initiatives, is to learn to program and spread the word that programming is going to be in high demand in all job areas, and every person should know how to program. The next thing that you can do, the third thing, is learn a language. Chinese, Spanish, English, and Hindi are the most used languages in the world. You may start there. I'm actually El Salvadoran and I don't speak another language. I only speak English, and this is something that I've been trying to put into my schedule to learn a new language because it's very, very important that we are multilingual. The fourth thing that you can learn to do is learn to play a musical instrument. Learning music helps develop language and reasoning. It increases memorization. It increases coordination, and it can also improve your work. Yeah, the work you do for 8 hours a day. Imagine if you did that better and were more productive doing it. The fifth thing is you need to read everything that you can get your hands on. Create reading a routine every day. Read every single day, anything that you can find, anything that you enjoy. Read, and then write. I know I mentioned journaling in the spiritual dimension, but it is also good for the mental dimension. Write as much as you can. Do creative writing. Write in a journal, or write about the books that you've read, or write about the vlogs that I'm making. But writing is very important to that brain function, to your brain function, and to the mental dimension. The fourth and final dimension of renewal is called the social dimension, or it's also called the emotional dimension. I had a friend who died in a car accident when she was 18. Once, when I was really, really depressed with my life, she told me that her mother always told her that whenever you feel lost or you feel like giving up, you need to give up on yourself and you need to give to someone else. This could mean volunteering. This could mean giving your time to a friend that needs help. Always remember to give. It doesn't matter if there are other intentions. Doing good is always good. It doesn't just mean volunteer. The social emotional dimension also means making time for others in your life. The other people that are important to you, your spouse, your family, your friends. We are social beings, so always stay social. In the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey talks about this concept of the upward spiral. And what he talks about is this. Renewal is the principle and the process that empowers us to move on an upward spiral of growth and change, of continuous improvement. I believe that as we grow and develop on this upward spiral, we must show diligence in the process of renewal by educating and obeying our conscience. An increasingly educated conscience will propel us along the path of personal freedom, security, wisdom, and power. Moving along the upward spiral requires us to learn, it requires us to commit, and it requires us to do on increasingly higher planes. We deceive ourselves if we think that any one of these is sufficient. To keep progressing in life, we must learn, we must commit, and then do. We must learn, commit, and do. Learn, commit, and do. And this is what that upward spiral looks like. It is always about learning, committing, and doing. So as you go from this, learn, commit, and do. When you are planning your week, you need to take into account that first things need to come first. That's what the book First Things First is about. Write down a list of the activities that you might like to do within each dimension every single week. Then pick one a week and plan it into your life. Keep it simple. Once you become a time management master, add in other activities. Just remember the rule of 3. Never more than 3 activities per dimension. And when you do your planning every week, put these activities in first so you know that you're making time for the things that are the most important to you, and making sure that you're taking that time to renew yourself every week.